Hello there, it's the Rev, and as promised, I'm going to give you the information that I told you I would about the missing week. Um, First of all, if you haven't been following my vids or my comments or my posts on the living God, you'll probably end up not understanding a damn thing that I'm talking about. So if you watch this video and you're interested, just go ahead and either message me, or you can just, when I post this video, you can just come right out underneath there and ask, where do I find the video or the post and the comments that I had made, and that it sort of bring you up to speed. Okay, well, to give you a little bit of connection between the last time I spoke and this time, part of being a living God was I had to do things, have things happen to me, be things that were happening to people all around the world. Sort of like what they say, you have to walk a mile in a man's shoes before you can criticize him. You can't say that this and this about him unless you've tasted a piece of his life and know what his life is like. And so the same goes for being a living God. You can't just be a living God without feeling what other people feel, understanding what other people understand, and just basically putting yourself in their place. So, to continue, I was off for a week because I went on a sabbatical. I like to say sabbatical. I like to say to the big house. Actually, where it was the Hines Veterans Administration Psychiatric Ward. A little over a week ago, on a Friday, I was sitting around and I was having a cold beer and I was contemplating the things that had happened to me and what was my next step. Where was I going to go? What did I need to learn to keep this boat moving? To not just say I am a living God, which, by the way, we all have the potential to be. It's nothing special. We open our eyes, we see the light, we can all become living gods. So it's nothing that's really miraculously special. We all have that ability. We all have that connection with the higher power. So we all could be. But it was sort of like, in a way, offered to me, and I chose to take it because I thought I could do a lot of good with that. Because with it comes a power. Different living gods have different powers. Mine, in particular, as I explained before, was healing. And we can get into this whole idea because it's not a physical healing, a psychological healing, a religious healing, a philosophical healing, but a spiritual healing. Helping you to go towards the light, to open your eyes and see the light, and see things as they are, accept things as they are. But anyway, I digress. Love that word too, digress. But anyway, here's what happened. I was sitting around and contemplating what would be my next step. I felt lost. I felt abandoned. I had a whole bunch of kids running around the house because, as you were aware, if you were aware of my past one, we had a bunch of kids stay with us for a week because of problems, etc., etc. And they were back visiting before they decided to move out of state to Kentucky. And there was just it was just a very, very chaotic situation, and I was trying to think through thoughts when I was basically being bombarded at all sides by all these problems and all these things and anything. So what I decided to do is I decided to go to the VA hospital and admit myself into the psychiatric ward, which I did. They're very reluctant to take you unless you're going to do two things: hurt yourself or hurt somebody. So when I was in the emergency, I told them that I had basically lost control of my mind and I didn't know what I was about to do. And if I had a gun, I might just shoot somebody or blow my own brains out. Well, that right away set off me going into the psychiatric ward. And the reason for me doing this is I wanted to see, feel, and appreciate another side of life. Now, I am under psychiatric medication. I don't feel like killing anybody or hurting myself or doing anything like that. But in order to keep that boat moving, so to speak, I have to participate in another action, another phase of learning, of becoming closer to the higher power, to understanding other people in order to help, so to speak, cure them of this spiritual negativity. So I was in there. I was in there for 7 days, and I was very quiet and seemed very non-observant for, let's say, the first 4 days. And when questioned by the doctors that were there, I had told them, I said, I just, basically lost my mind. I have no idea. I don't even own a gun. Why would I shoot anybody? So I started, basically what I was doing is I was starting the process so that I could get out. Because literally, if you don't play the game, you can stay in there a very, very long time. And I didn't plan on staying in there more than a week, because I figured what I needed to find out and what I needed to do would only take about a week. Somehow I just felt that was the right number or whatever. So while I was playing mind games with the doctors, I was observing a lot of things. A lot of people were in there for drugs. A lot of people were in there for alcohol. A lot of people were in there because they had split personalities. A lot of people, well, there was a few people in there that were just really like they had just fell off the mountain, smacked their head, and they'll never be the same again. Walking around and screaming and whatever. And let me give you a couple. For instance, there was this one guy, I'm not going to mention any names regardless, and he didn't even want to leave his room to go get a breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They tried to coax him out. He'd walk about 10 feet out of his room, and he'd go, and he'd get scared, and he'd, basically want to run back to the room. And so they had to make a special deal for him so that he could eat in the room. But the point is I made an effort that every time I would pass this guy's room, if he was there, I would attempt to say something. Like, hey, how you doing? And then just keep going. And after a couple times, he started responding. And then after a few more times, we actually had somewhat of a conversation talking about, well, how long you in here? Oh, when are you gonna get out? Well, I don't know. They don't tell me anything. And I said, oh yeah, well that's how it is. They don't tell you nothing until the last minute, and then boom, boom, boom. I was trying to, in a way, reach out to this person and do something to bring him out of that spiritual condemnation that he probably didn't even choose to be in. Something had happened, and I wasn't concerned with what exactly happened. It was just a matter of getting him to converse. That's one little thing. Another person in there came up to me and they asked me. They says, "Well, what do you got to do to get out of here?" And I said, "Well, that depends. What are you in for?" And he says, "Well, I'm a schizophrenic, and I went off my medication and went nuts, and I was in a hospital, and then they transferred me over here because I'm a vet." Now, this guy never smiled. Never once would he smile. And it was actually scary to look at this individual. He looked angry and mean, and his whole face was all tattooed up. And anyway, we talked a little, and then I think the next day or so I came up and I said, "Oh, so you seen the doctor?" And he said, "Yeah, I seen the doc." I said, "So what's going on?" He says, "I don't know." I said, "Well, this is all a game, really. You got to kiss their ass. You got to give them what they want to hear. Now, we know from you telling me that you went off your meds. When you're on your meds, you were fine, right?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "So you went off your meds, and that's what caused you to end up in here?" And he said, "Yeah." I says, "Well, you start coming to the group sessions, even if you don't like them. Make sure that you take a shower. Make sure you shave. Do these little things that they believe humanity does, that normal, quote unquote, normal people do. And if you play their game and you get back on the meds, chances are they're going to let you out, because it's not a risk factor where you attempted to commit suicide or you attempted to hurt anybody else. It was just that you lost your mind and went split personality and, like talking to yourself, walking around talking to yourself. And they're concerned about things like this because this can lead to something else. But the reason I mentioned him is I mentioned he never smiled. Well, the last time that I talked to him, I kind of made a joke about, "Oh, well, what the hell, let's just all stay in here forever because we get 3 good meals a day and a nice warm place to sleep, and we get to play cards and do everything. So, hey, what the hell, screw them, let's not get out, let's stay in here. I see how many times they can bring more people in without letting any of us go." And he started getting a smile on his face and laughing. The thought of just overcrowding this whole unit with literally hundreds of people, never letting anybody out, and just keep on pushing people in until we're just bumping heads and all walking around like anyway, then we had a guy that really was bad. This guy would walk around and he would just make off the wall dirty comments, and he was just totally lost. There was no way to even help this person because you cannot communicate with them. If you lack communication, there's no way you're going to be able to put an idea in somebody's head or understand them or just basically try to help. It's virtually impossible. Those are the kind of people that occasionally they bump in and they just keep them sedated to a certain extent where they just don't cause any harm. He wasn't a harmful person. He just was like a little shit. But he was real scary. He had long, scraggly hair, and the typical guy you look out on the street that's a bum and looks at you like, "Give me 50 cents or give me 50 cents." One of these kind of guys and stuff. Anyway, like I was saying, these were certain people that I needed to learn about. I needed to reach out into society and see these type of people that need help, that aren't getting the help, that it's not always just a matter of a psychological problem or something like that, that it could be a spiritual problem. I mean, there's a possibility. I'm not saying every problem in the world is, but I needed to see some of the other sides of these neurotic, psychotic, psychiatric patients, and in order to be sort of in their shoes and walk with them to see how it is. And that would help me to notice and see what kind of problems I'm dealing with when I try to spiritually help somebody. So I played the game with the doctors, and in a couple days more, they went ahead and they let me out. I thought it was a great experience. I came back home feeling a lot of fulfillment. I learned a lot, and I believe I can become a better person towards helping people in their spiritual quests because of doing this. And I have another project in mind, and I'm going to go ahead and let you guys hear another video as soon as I complete this next project, because it seems for some reason I have these steps that I have to take to become closer to the higher power. I mean, we are all part of it, but to become closer to the top of the tornado, to the top of the cyclone, to where the main power source is. I mean, we are all part of it swirling around, but getting closer to the main power source, the thing that actually drives it all. And there's these steps that I have to take in order to fulfill my goal as a living God on this earth and be able to heal people. So anyway, that was my 7-day sabbatical in the big house, the psychiatric ward of the Veterans Administration, Hines, Illinois, psychiatric hospital. And thank God that I went in sane, because sometimes you just don't get helped in there. I've seen some people that they could be in there very well for a long time, just because they have such problems, deep problems, that even the doctors, they couldn't help them, like the one who couldn't communicate. But anyway, I'm gonna do something else that I have in mind, so that I can walk in the footsteps of somebody who has to live like that. And when I do that, I'm going to post another video and let you know how that worked out. Other than that, like I say, if you're lost as to what I'm talking about, the living God thing, the healing, the spiritual, you can go ahead after I post this video, and you can go ahead and just ask me, and I'll just put down for anybody's interested where you can go to get my original video. And of course, you could probably dig back through my wall and find all the comments and posts I wrote about things to kind of catch you up to date, if you're interested. If you're not interested, that's fine. I can't, I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make it drink. And I have found that by becoming closer to my higher power, even though it has cost me sometimes a little bit of my own sanity and my financial life, and it's cost me and my family things that it wouldn't have to do if I never took on this responsibility which I was offered. That probably just sounds crazy in itself, but well, you either believe or you don't believe. That's up to you. Anyway, I'm going to let you go with that, and I'm going to go ahead and get this thing edited up, and I'm going to throw it out there, and you guys go ahead and put your comments, whatever you think. Call me crazy if you want to, ask if you want more information, whatever. And don't forget, may your higher power go with you.